Taught some fucking Donald Trump. Um, so I think I've made it clear in my few political take videos that I've done in recent months. Now, my older videos, I used to be, I would say, on the right, a conservative, if you would say. I would say I had some far right beliefs, but here's what I'll say about my far right beliefs. My far right beliefs were from being raised by people who had those far right beliefs. And I would say it's kind of like when you so only people who were born in religious households will understand this. But when you're born into a religious household, there's a lot of stuff that you just don't question because it's just so normal to you. And every once in a while, when you're in a religious household, let's say you have siblings, right? Most of them will go on believing that just fine, and then there's always the one child that starts questioning things, and it is a form of indoctrination, that kind of thing. And that's kind of where I was at with Trump. I used to be a supporter, and I'm making this video not because I'm going to make my channel a political talking channel. I just think that sometimes there's news so big in the world that you just need to speak up because of the fact that, like, should you just be silent all the time? Absolutely not. Have you ever heard the term silence is violence? Now, a lot of times that is referred to racism and things like that. But I would say in this case, this is just the state of our country. If we continue to be silent about what happened, So what I'm referring to, if you don't know, is two recent incidents. One of them happened today at the time of recording this video, and the other one happened a couple days ago. Basically, Trump got raided by the FBI for documents they had stolen while being in the White House. He was leaving and stole some documents. Now, the documents that they were trying to retrieve, a few of them, we don't know exactly what all of them were about nuclear weapons. Now, we don't know if this was America's nuclear weapons or another country's nuclear weapons. Here's what I'll say. It's most likely the Russians. The Russians have a good relationship with Donald Trump. There's a lot of simping going on there. A lot of the far right conservatives, when the Ukraine stuff started going on, a lot of them, like Tucker Carlson, were actually praising Putin and saying things like that. And also, a lot of them were also not really as defensive of Ukraine as they could be, and they're also quoted as saying lots of things like it was a safer place when Donald Trump was president, even though they don't understand that their president was actually just stalling the inevitable, and this would have happened either way. So, these are things that I don't really care, and I don't really know if these were Russian. I'm just assuming they were. It's not really about what the shit was on those documents. Basically, as soon as this happened, the far right immediately started throwing out threats and saying how they're gonna go commit violence, they're gonna do all this stuff, and it and it's and it was not to be taken lightly, and I think too many people did, and especially not having as much under control as they did to avoid what happened today, even though no one was harmed, just shows you that we were taking this too lightly. Because the highest amount of domestic violence is actually committed by the far right in this country. Lots of studies have proven that. You can disagree with that take or not, whatever, but even not taking that into account, January 6th happened, okay? And that was all far right conservatives who were angry enough that it happened. Donald Trump supporters are very much encouraged to be violent. He was quoted in many interviews after speeches as for saying that he would pay for certain people's legal fees. He was a man that very much did not condemn violence. He actually promoted it, and a lot of people who talk about Trump online, whether that be in real life or not in real life or just at all, have been known to get mailed handwritten death threats mailed to them. You know, it's very normal for this has happened by a myriad of people. You can look up and find them. And it's very frustrating. So today, I guess we'll get into the second piece of the news, which is basically that someone on the far right actually did go and commit violence today. They attempted to go shoot up one of the FBI's headquarters, basically. And now no one died, no one was harmed, but that's because this guy's a fucking idiot. And I'm sorry to use that flowery language. There's no other way to describe this man other than that. Because, A, he was at the Capitol and did actually commit violence there. And he still has not learned his lesson. I don't understand the way the way some of these people are just let off, right? Wasn't it a man? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. There was a man who assaulted a police officer at the Capitol who got like 5 years in prison. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense, the sentencing. And like, this guy should have been in jail. But I hate to say this, but I'm happy this man is dead. And not like I'm like, oh, thank God this man's dead. I'm actually happy. I'm more just remorseful that this man is just in a better place for himself. Because this is a man that would have never seen the truth. You know, to go out and attempt to kill FBI members or even be at that Capitol. This is a man who just wanted to believe these things and be angry. And you would think, okay, after the Capitol you learn. No, he never wanted to learn. And so him dying is really the best option for him because he learns the truth. And if he refuses to learn the truth, then I wouldn't say just die, but I would say, like, you know, what is your purpose? Other than to just be angry, because that's what you're choosing to do. You're choosing to be angry and violent. And, you know, you're someone who obviously very willingly would have killed people, right? The only reason he didn't get to is that these people are trained to take out situations like this, and they did so successfully. Don't make no mistake, you might hear people will die in violent acts from Republicans. And I don't think that Republicans are all bad. I think a lot of people who know me feel that way, that I definitely feel that way. I would say I talk bad about them a lot because there is a lot of downplaying of the stuff that's going on right now. Someone literally, I know, has been constantly trying to convince me that no, they didn't find anything. They were unjustified to raid him. And it's just like, it's not funny because, you know, even though no one did die, someone could have died today at this shooting at the FBI headquarters today. Someone could have died, you know. And at the Capitol, people did die. You know, there was a couple police officers that afterwards committed suicide. We had a lady that was actually there, and she got killed. You know, I mean, I guess in a way, someone did die because of this rhetoric. You know, this rhetoric that starts at the top being Donald Trump and going down. And, you know, I don't blame people for believing the stuff that he said because I was a part of that. But I do blame people for not trying to be better, you know, for people who keep downplaying this, you know, because I think there's a lot of lack of faith in the political party of the Republican side. I think there just is. Midterm elections are very much swaying in Democrat favor. And 2024 does not look like a Republican win, if you ask me. It could happen. It could change. You know, that's 2 years from now. But what's happening right now is a falling apart of this political party, and half of it is for DeSantis, and half of it's for Trump, and half of it's for this. And it's just frustrating because this side of the political spectrum is now harming real people. And it's been quite a lot this year. You know, in Florida, there's been a rise of anti-LGBTQ violence, especially in other red states as well. That's been rising this year more than normal, and not been reported on that much by the news, but it's been happening. There's been there was that shooting in Buffalo, that Buffalo shooting where a man who had very far right beliefs about white replacement theory killed some black people. You know, he did that. We had this FBI shooting and possibly more violence coming your way, because this is something that, again, this is one guy threatening. This is the first guy to take action. Well, there's going to be more, and there will be more. I hope there isn't. I'd be happy to eat those words and go, oh, that was nasty, and then just puke it all out. But unfortunately, I'm not going to eat those words because, you know, I said the moment the FBI raid happened, this is exactly what's going to happen. Now, not this exact situation, but obviously some, you know, violence was going to come from this. And I'm very disappointed that, I think I'm disappointed more so that the current president, not the previous one, Joe Biden, doesn't speak on this stuff more, because, you know, I think his response is, he understands that so many people who love Donald Trump already hate him, so it doesn't do him any favors to speak on it. But when you got this man who's out there being raided by the FBI, they find these illegal documents, whatever, and then you got fellow American citizens' lives being literally threatened because, I mean, it's very possible that these guys could just go shoot up a neighborhood just because they're angry about what happened to Donald Trump. Like, we don't really know what's going to happen here. I'm frustrated. I'm scared. You know, I don't even know why I made this video. I guess I'm disappointed that I was right. You know, I was right that I assumed that someone on the far right would go out there and commit violence, you know? Like, it's not one of the, it's one of those times where you're like, I'm right, but do you want to be right? No, you don't. You want to have hope for, you know, people. You know, and I'm not a fan of this political party, but, you know, I will appreciate them when they do things right, or they have points I agree with, you know, or when we can come to some kind of understanding. But instead, we're fighting and we're angry and we're just unjustifiably angry that we're willing to let people come to harm just so there's a chance that Donald Trump might run 2024. Well, newsflash, fuck y'all, it ain't happened. Donald Trump is gone. It's time to move on. And if you want to believe the election storm, go ahead. But remember, every time you say that shit, that's another American life that's very possible to end, because you continue to preach these beliefs, you know, and you can believe that, but you're risking American lives every time you say that shit.